thought I was alone in this fight.
Can't hear you.
All right, the best part of tonight for me is that I thought I was alone in this fight. So I feel encouraged because I know that the battle ahead is huge. The feds want it, the state wants it, the Coast Commission wants it. The battle is gonna be nuclear. So I feel so good that there are other people that are willing to stand up and fight that fight. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I retired when I was 50. I got very fortunate. I built 2 nice businesses, sold them, moved to the Central Coast, been here 27 years since I retired when I was 50. Bought a little boat in Morro Bay, had it at German Joe's for 2 years while I restored it, took it to Avila.
What was the name of that boat? I used to be there.
Aquila.
Oh, yeah.
It was a red and white on the end tide. It was a cute little, built in 1902 by Italian immigrants. Anyhow, I digress. So, took that boat to Avila, had it there for a few years, sold it, bought a commercial salmon boat. In the beginning, I was a sports fisherman with a commercial boat. I knew that. I didn't know anything, but people taught me a lot of stuff. Now, you have some experts that know a lot more about the wind farm and its impact. You got any commercial fishermen in here?
Legs.
Okay, all right. I fish salmon. When you fish salmon, you put 50-pound leads down and this long stainless steel cable. It's a real small, thin cable. One of the things we have to do, or I was taught to do early, was measure the electrical impulse on that cable. If something isn't grounded properly on the boat, that impulse is larger. Because if the impulse is too big, the fish don't come near it. The fish stay away. The fish are smart. Now, that's a cable that is no thicker than a clothesline. And if that electrical impulse can deviate a fish, think what 80 acres and huge cables can do to the marine life.
Yeah.
We know that back east, where they had, like I say, you guys are experts on this. You're way more knowledgeable than me. But I know that back east, they've had these wind turbines break, and the blade comes off, and it creates tons of shards of little microscopic fiberglass that the fish eat, that the little fish eat, that the bigger fish eat, that you eat. So eventually that shard potentially can be you. I know that they've had issues with whales and the mammals in the ocean. I know that if I'm in my boat and there's whales in the area, if I do something simple like take a hammer and hit it on the inside of the hull routinely, the whales will stay away. An impulse going through the ocean, I can't imagine what that does to confuse an animal. Or if they get caught inside of the
Matrix.
all these wind turbines. Not to mention the oil leaks, because I've seen the ones on land where they kill the birds. Those. When they leak, it's a huge amount of liquid that comes out of that thing. So I can't think of anything good. A little bit of electricity, no. The fact that my tax dollars, or your tax dollars, our tax dollars, are gonna help fund it, because you know these people, they don't do it on their own dime. They do it on your dime and my dime. It just pisses me off. So,
Well, then they're sending the money overseas.
my goal, I know the 5 members that are on the board now. I've been down there since before Andrea, okay? And two of them are here, are here, but they're cautiously not vocal. okay? There's 5 members. 2 of them will vote with you. I'm gonna use that finger.
Use it.
Potentially, I could be the 3rd vote. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody here is from, or Port St. Louis, or, my district is Pismo Beach. So I don't think anybody is here that's gonna affect that. I wanted to be here because I don't believe anything they say. And closed doors, decisions, it's Port St. Louis, it's a little bitty chicken shit little port with a 100-year-old pier that people like to walk out to and look at the seals. It's no big deal. And one of the commissioners said to me, well, our understanding is they're only gonna bring in small boats to resupply the guys working on the thing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if that's the case, why aren't they in Morro Bay? Cause it's a hell of a lot closer. You can bring a small boat in here, put some burgers on it and take it out there, no problem. Why go all the way to Avila? Because Avila is potentially a deep water port.
Right.
And I don't want 300 feet or larger ships coming in and out of that little port. That port it's imperfect.
Yeah.
But I find so much beauty in that imperfection.
Just leave it alone.
Okay, so I can't add anything to the technical end of it, other than what I've read, and I've done a lot of reading on it, right? But the speakers you're gonna have in November, I'm glad I'm not following any of those guys. Because, I'd be really underwhelming. Any questions?
Thank you for wanting to be a commissioner.
Have you communicated with the people that just spent all that money building the RV center there?
Well, that's another whole nother story. That's a whole nother different deal. But in the same kind of arena,
Yeah, I mean,
it was fine the way it was. We had our fish containers up there, bears running around, deer. And they came up with this idea, but here's how ineffectively inefficient the port is. They started that project in 1973.
what?
Andrew?
Yeah.
They,
I wasn't there.
the original proposal was in 1973.
Yeah.
And it took them to what, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
30 years to pull the trigger? Oh my God, if I was hunting, the deer would be dead, in old age.
And their grandchildren.
Jeez, so, and here's something else about the port. These companies, they're big dollar people. They're huge money.
Yeah.
And they come in and they wave a little check around for $25,000 or $30,000. And everybody's on board. Because all they see is the immediate gratification of that.
Yeah.
It's like me getting the ice cream out of the refrigerator. I'll eat the whole damn thing because I want the immediate gratification. But when I got heartburn that night, that's the ramification. And it's the same thing with people in the port. These three of these commissioners now, you wave a check in front of them, they're all in. Oh, hey, we're gonna build a pier, we're gonna make you a pier, and we're gonna do all this. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. If we have friends
Please,
who are,
I'm glad of the question because I'd ramble on. for
that's
a long
okay.
time.
So if we have friends who are down in Pismo Beach,
Yeah.
and we want to say, hey, we met this great person, you get to vote for him. Do you have a website or some way that people can learn about you?
I have signs around town. I'm gonna do a couple of little speaks. My last name, Richard Scangarello, and I'll leave some little flyers with you, okay?
Okay.
If they go to my Facebook page, they'll see who I am. It's not political and it's just gonna see who I am. They'll see videos of me fishing and they'll see my grandson and stuff like that. They'll know I'm just a regular guy. If it got this, I've been pissed about a lot of little things at the port. But when that meeting happened and it was, all the information was closed door and not to the public, it just, It upset me.
Motivated you.
It upset me.
Is the person opposing you an incumbent or just another?
The person opposing me is she's from Costa Mesa. She was she was down there for 30 years, and she was a public. She worked for the city. And she moved up here, and she became a consultant for San Luis Obispo. And she's been here, I think, 5 years.
Are you talking Katie Lichtig?
Pardon?
Are you talking about Katie Lichtig?
Yeah, is that it? Yeah.
So Katie Lichtig, she worked in local government down south, but she also was the city manager for the city of San Luis Obispo for a number of years, 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was a local government person.
Yeah, so she moved away,
Is she
came back.
for all
moved away.
this?
Pardon?
Is she for?
I have no idea. I have no idea what her position is on anything. I don't know.
We don't
the
know.
lady. I'm the only one that's running opposed. Everybody else is, I think I was the easy target. So, which is fine. It's all love, fair and love and war, you know. So, I am who I am. I am nothing special, but I know right and I know wrong. And wrong is not shedding light on stuff. Wrong is what the potential that can have negative effects to the marine environment, to the fish, to the whales, to the dolphins. My boat's a single-handed boat. My boat's called the Morningwood. My wife has a sense of humor. She named it. Anyhow, it's a single-handed boat. I fish it by myself. And I love getting up in the morning, and when the fog's out, and salmon season is there, and we're heading out the harbor, and the guy next to me gets on the radio and says, "Richard, what you doing?" And I'm saying, "Full of hope." Because that's what we do, full of hope. And I get out there by myself, and the whales, and the dolphins, and the salmon, and the rocks. Anyhow, it's a beautiful place. It needs to be protected.
Yes.
It just needs to be protected. I can't emphasize enough how, from my perspective, one man, single guy, well, other fishermen, but from our perspective, it's a special place that we get to go. And it's so beautiful in Avila, because usually the weather's kind of nice if you're not out there after 12 o'clock in April. You know? But it's so beautiful. And I don't know. I don't have a lot of good words. I don't have a lot of words.
Well, thank you so much, Richard. We really appreciate it.